Hi, everybody. This is Todd Gressley here at A05 Gallery in Austin, Texas. And I stressed my last name being Gressley because the next artist also has a very mispronounced last name too. I'm being joined by maybe Austin's most famous local artist, Jason Eatherly. Hello, Jason. Welcome to Todd Talks.
Yo, howdy.
Howdy,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
Oh, dude, it's our honor to have you. I've known you a long time, and before I knew of you, when I came to Austin, I saw EATH and like Earth, or Heath.
Yeah.
Also be Heather with the sound, and so I called you Jason Eatherly, and people said no, I think it's Eatherly or Etherly, and so it was frustrating for me because I'm Todd Gressley. I get called Greasley, Grisley, Grassley, and I correct people. I've never seen you correct anyone when they call you any name. You just go, "Hi, it's nice to meet you too."
Yeah.
So, real pronunciation. Say it the way you say it.
Yeah, Jason Eatherly.
Eatherly. See, the TH is kind of
Yeah, or E, like we're supposed to in the English language, where it's EA is E, basically.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, see, they don't say Elvis Presley. They say Elvis Presley. And my last name is spelled the same, Gressley, Presley, Gressley. But who cares? I'm just glad we cleared that up for a lot of viewers. There's a lot of people watching this interview that are nuts about you. You have major collectors in Austin and around the world. So I'm going to get into some really cool things with you because you are an Austin darling. Long story short, your show here got canceled like a lot of the other artists, but it's not really canceled. We're going to hang it, I think, in like a week. And we're going to open the doors for people to see it. We're not going to be like a cocktail night and all that, but we're going to do a show for you in June.
Yeah.
So tell people what they can expect.
Basically the same style I've been doing over the years and trying to perfect it. I think we're all looking for something different as artists. We're developing our own style, but also looking for certain areas where we're trying to perfect it. And I think that goes on for any artist forever, right? Where we're just trying to keep motivated with the imagery we see. I like to do abstract a little bit more with surreal, because when I grew up, I thought an abstract painting, obviously someone comes up to it that's an art critic and says, oh, anybody could do that, anybody could paint that. But then that's why I've always followed up with like my surreal paintings, because it takes time to develop that. But now I'm kind of going back into my roots of like expressing those feelings, and sometimes they can end up abstract, and I want to play with that a little bit, have a diverse sectioned off pieces where it's just abstract, pretty playful with all the instruments I use to like make abstract paintings, but then come in with like brushwork and oil and make things look kind of real and give you that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very lucky to have known you long enough that you've given me some of your painterly paintings, and people know you as a stencil artist, muralist. We'll get into that too. But I was hanging paintings that people were like, "Oh, this is Jason's work. Like these aren't like street pieces." Or I've had some amazing things. In fact, your second show, I think, with us, the postcard piece recently sold to a couple in San Antonio. And it was your wife at the time, fiance, on the car, and it had, the livestock in the barns. And people don't realize, I mean, you're a Kansas state native. Is that right?
Yeah, I grew up there. Grew up, all the way until high school, and then I had to go somewhere. I couldn't stay in the same position. So I was very thankful to like leave at that time when I was 18, and took a book bag and $60. And my mom was like, I hope I hear from you, And I'm like, I'm not going to be gone forever. I just need to go after what's going to make me feel better within my own life and feel successful, and find a community that loves me and I can love them back, and get that sense of clarity a little bit with art. So, but yeah, Kansas is flat. It's kind of, there's not much to it.
But
so
it
it's
makes
a
you
perfect
who you
place.
are.
Yeah.
It really makes you who you are. I grew up in Indiana, as you know, and so when I relate to artists like you that leave that country or that hometown and they kind of go to the bigger city, if you will, because I went from in a little town in Indiana to Indianapolis, and then I ended up in the fourth largest city in the nation. And you came south to the fastest growing city.
I feel like I'm very fortunate. Yeah, I'm fortunate on that. And I didn't have the money for LA or New York. As an artist, I wanted to do everything independently. I didn't like to be told what to do, right? And so college was kind of a mindset away from what I wanted to do with like graffiti and street art. And and bring the art into the community, like for real, instead of online presence type deal. So it's been crazy, and I'm very stoked that like Austin's developed the way it has. And I lived in Dallas before here in Austin, and it just wasn't, it's just a different heartbeat. So I'm stoked to be here, and I don't see myself leaving this city. If anything, I'll buy some acreage outside and then tap into it when I need to.
Right on. So, yeah, well, I mean, and that's one of the glorious things about Texas, is that every city does have its own identity. It's not like we have many cities at all, you know?
Yeah.
And Austin's in the center. So Austin is the one that nobody really doesn't like. Like if you're El Paso, Houston, Dallas, everybody's nice to Austin, but they may fight with each other. But everybody, I think, because we've absorbed the other cities. And that really reflects on your art too, because, you know, I met you through people in Austin that worked with you on murals. You know, you were beautifying dilapidated buildings or buildings that needed a facelift. I know you remember it. Dumb question if I ask you if you do, but from your first mural to what you're doing now, how has that changed? And are you still excited to get a giant wall? Or are you really focusing more on little, or does everything still excite you? Like from the first mural to what you're doing now, what's the Jason?
Yeah, everything's still juiced up. I think even doing my first mural, which wasn't really like, I mean, I did one when I was like 15 or 16 in some guy's house in Kansas, and I didn't get paid. He was just like, you can come hang out at my house, we have parties. And so that was like the gig back then, was like, I want to have a good time. Money's not a value now that I've kind of intertwined a little bit of both, make sure I'm having complete fun, and make sure the client understands like that I'm coming from a part of creativity, and I've been doing that my whole life, to just kind of sit back and enjoy what I'm going to do. And if you want to alter it, I'm more than willing, you know? So my first piece in Austin was like at the Hope Outdoor Gallery, and it was just a wheat paste, a 3 foot by 3 foot. And man, I had to do some climbing for it. I was sweating, and I stepped back and I'm like, wow, that thing is little bitty. So it really helped me like work on scale. And from then on, I've just been going bigger and bigger and bigger. To work that kind of scale and come out with something that you're proud of is always like, you know, a challenge. Whether you're having rain elements, all kinds of elements can alter what you're doing in the public. And I think outside it has room to grow and be alive. And so studio stuff, you know, studio and gallery works is a opportunity to get my work in personal hands and get them to really feel and touch the painting and see what layers I did, because it's all kind of like a blueprint to how I made the art piece. And a lot of people in public at walls, they don't have time to go up and see the layers and textures and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's a drive-by art piece basically for 90% of the public.
Right.
You know, a really cool drive-by piece, but some people get to stand and appreciate it. There's a mural in New Orleans. We won't mention other artists in your interview, but there's a mural in New Orleans outside my hotel room. And every time I go out to eat or leave the hotel, I get to stare at this big, beautiful mural. So some people are lucky enough to live close to your art. And some people don't even realize that you are the artist who does the queen with the breathing apparatus for painting, the painting mat, whatever you want to call it. That's you. A lot of people are like, oh, I've seen those around town, and this is who you are. Why did this become your signature? I mean, I think she's tattooed on your back. Like,
yeah, fully on my back. And it was like a big commitment. And I didn't think at the time, I wasn't juggling. I was juggling a bunch of different tattoo stuff, and I was really drawing a bunch of flash, and I came up with the side profile of a woman because I think that's just so empowering. You see all the coins and nickels and all the money with the side profile. It's like, I want it to be a woman because there's so many, you know, men on those, and to put her with a mask. And I just started drawing different things that I thought would be just empowering when I get to sit back and look at it. And and I think that was in 2012. And at the time I didn't realize that so many people had a total different expectation or thought about what I created. You know, the meaning behind what it means to me could be totally different to somebody else. And at that point I was like, I don't need to sign it. I don't need to do anything. It'll speak for itself. And so, you know, literally a week later, I got to learn how to screen print it. And that's when I mass production made stickers, thousands of them. And we're just going to the post office and grabbing the free stickers that they handed out, bringing them home and putting them in the garage, and just thousands of stickers everywhere instantly. So it was a way for me to market myself a little quicker. Sure. Without having like my name to it as much, more of like, I'll put it out there, and maybe if they take it serious and they love it, then they'll do the research and find the person or something. And I never was one to just be in a closet and not let everybody know who I was or my face. I just kind of let it come naturally when they met me. I think that's more exciting for me too.
Well, I'll tell you, when you, as an artist, it's not easy to do. When you come up with something like when Prince lost his name purposely and became the artist formerly known as Prince and just had the Prince symbol, people knew what that symbol meant. People see the Queen here with the breathing apparatus, they know it's Jason. Like, they know. And
yeah.
You've done that in less than a decade, dude. That, I mean, again, not an easy feat to do as a young artist. I mean, you're just in your 30s, like barely in your 30s now, right?
Yeah. I came to the city so hungry too, and really could barely even afford an apartment, but I was spending hundreds on stickers.
Right. Well, I had an interview with John Morse, my collage artist in the gallery, and he even said he would pay to paint if he had to. He would pay to walk, but he gets to walk for free. And you can create art for free as he did with collage, but your technique's different. But you paid to create it, and now it's paying you. It all pays off. A lot of artists don't get that struggle. They think they're going to paint their first piece and be successful. I mean, you had a struggle. You did, but you didn't just immediately become an overnight sensation. But you are probably the most recognizable living artist in Austin. Daniel Johnston may have been the most, but you're probably the most recognizable living artist in Austin, Texas.
Whoa, that's crazy. Yeah, to be put up there like that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think just the hunger and something that was placed in my life, like skateboarding and just being outdoors at a young age, was really something that opened my mind. And skateboarding is not like a normal sport. It's competitive, but like, we're here to pat you on your back and learn from what new stuff we can come up with. And I think the art world is very like that in ways where you got people that are kind of cold shouldered, not really open-minded, and will breathe down your back. But it's like, and then you have other people where they're just so excited to see it bloom. And that's the type of people I want to surround myself with. And, it's just being open-minded to anything is nice and freeing.
Well, sure. And, I've noticed that your shows with me, that whether the person is 70 years old or 17, they are like-minded people. The age group may be different with your art, but everybody has that open-mindedness. I've never had hoity-toities come to your show and be like, ugh, like everyone that's come in there, whether they're dressed nice or down, like they have a really cool mindset about what you do. Which brings me to your upcoming show. I know you said a lot of it's the same, but you're doing a whole range of sizes and prices for this show, though. I mean, you've done that before, but this is like one of your biggest collections, I guess, for A05 Gallery, right?
Yeah, and I think making each show, and I haven't had a outstanding amount of shows, but each one kind of shows me what I need to puzzle into to make it happen next time, right? Like, some shows I get overly big-headed. I'm like, I have big dreams. I want to make furniture. I want to do all this and that. And sometimes you just got to go back a little bit and be like, all right, some of those things did work, but also the crowd that I speak to, which could be anybody, any age. But I guess just I always think about that with my age group and what I create. It's more it could happen more where it's my age group purchasing my work and wanting to embody it within their home life. So I try to figure out and narrow it down to what I need to be making. This show is going to be really fun because I have really fun sizes, not over dramatic pieces, but really nice sizes that could really fit anywhere. And the color palette ranges as well. So
cool. Well, I'll tell you, because of the postponement of the show and the way I like to do things, we're not going to have like cocktail night and everybody's drunk and like, woo, everything sells out. But we are going to announce a day that it opens. And we're going to do it according to guidelines, of course. But because we don't want people to rush in the first day, you have some other pieces we're actually going to trickle in later. So if you come the first day, maybe a bit different a week later, and then by July, there may be 8 new pieces because you're going to do a little trickle effect. We're going to try something new with Jason. I mean, you've always been in the gallery, but now we're going to like make sure people visit more often because we're going to sneak stuff in all the time, which I'm pretty excited about too. Yeah,
real excited.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's really done that before. I guess it's kind of a new idea. I mean, it's unprecedented territory, but it's going to be awesome no matter what. But it's going to be in June. What have you dreamed of doing in the art world that you haven't accomplished yet that you want to get your hands on? Like, what's something you want to do that you haven't done
Thinking about it as a whole, it's a hard thing to envision. But I do want to write down more thoughts, and actually build a body of work that's, that has stories and some sentiment to it, where you can break it down and you could find different things that happened in my life that I've learned from, that someone else could learn from a little easier than just making those mistakes. Try to incorporate some of those values in life within my bodies of work, and just try to not make stuff that comes off the top of the head as quick as possible, to just put it down, write it down first, figure out what and how it needs to be displayed, what size, what medium. I'm into motorcycles recently, and I love to, like, I never try to just put myself in a box and do one thing. Like, even when I designed the Queen, I was constantly pushing out different styles of work, not just to throw spaghetti at the wall and just see if it sticks for other people, but for myself, you know? And so I'm doing welding now. I'm doing all kinds of just different sculptures. And now that I've gotten into metal, I'm not letting it distract what I need to be making with canvas work and just like museum quality pieces. But it's been fun to, like, switch up my head and work on some other materials. So
right on. Okay.
That'll intertwine later, you know?
So basically you're saying you're already accomplishing the things you've always wanted to accomplish, basically.
Kinda.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite things, it's behind me. We had the Volkswagen, but this is the van I guess this is from Hawaii trip that y'all took, right? I want everybody to know it's in the gallery. You have to come see. It's one of the last paintings left of Jason's in the gallery, because we hang you up and he goes. And this is the kind of thinking that a lot of people don't realize. Your paintings still have the signature, the style that you do, but there's a story behind a lot of these too. It's not just, where you've got a building with a skate ramp and a bus. Like, all those things are symbolic to your life. And I'm really excited for people to come in. I mean, when I hang it, I'm sure you'll tell me the stories behind it all, because you can't be here 24/7 to explain to everybody, but you'll tell me the stories and I'll reiterate to people. But that's what's exciting about you, is you're not just a street artist that's graduated to canvas on people's walls. You will always be a street artist, and you've always been a fine artist. And I love that marriage that you've done. And this is why this is one of my favorite pieces. I don't care if this sells or not. I love it.
Yeah. So, thanks. Yeah. Architecture, vehicles, all those straight lines that people focus on that are just so hard. And it's like every day, if you woke up and tried to draw a perfect circle, one of those days you'd wake up and you'd be surprised that circle looks really good, And I think some of those things are happening in my life where I'm like, wow, if I was looking at my 16-year-old self, I would be geeking out on some of the stuff that I've been able to do. So yeah, just trying to backtrack, know where we come from, and just be mindful of how gifted some people can be, and just know that we're all going to make mistakes, And some of those.
Your gift, it has really brought joy to a lot of people. Every person that's bought your stuff isn't like, I mean, this is cool, I like it. They're like, no, like, I have this. I mean, dude, I mean, you've really mastered what you've done. There's a reason why you're an important face in Austin. I mean, you may have a Stevie Ray Vaughan statue one day when you're dead and gone. You may be a Willie Nelson. I mean, you keep that what you're doing, man. Anybody that comes into the gallery or has bought from you in the past, or any place that your art resides, anybody that has had an opportunity to buy something of yours that's under $500, will really be glad in the future. Anybody that's bought something of yours that's under $1,000 will be glad in the future. And anybody that's bought one of your big magnum opus pieces that's 5,000 or more. I mean, Jason, you've really created a great name. And I don't say it lightly. I mean, my job is to tell the truth about what people are taking home. You're young, you're impactful, and you have a huge history ahead of you. And to be able to acquire your work now is really important. Mm-hmm. I believe that you will be another major name in Austin history. I mean, you'll be in the history book. Great. If not by the time you're 50, the name, you know what I'm saying? Like the governor, whoever he is in the future is like, oh, we got that Jason guy. I mean, you're big time, man. And it's an honor to have you in AO5 Gallery with the rest of these. I mean, I have dead artists. You're hanging next to Salvador Dali, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
Like, I had to edit my word.
Much love.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think making the energy, when you make a piece and you're set on, you're not thinking about sales, you're not thinking about nothing other than, I'm just going to make an art piece for the day, the sun's shining, just make a piece and don't think much about it. Just learn within yourself. I think those are the pieces, right, that people resonate with, because they can feel that through art, like music is. So if you're making a piece and you're down and out, and sure, time, you know, to make art when you're down and out is just as valuable, I think, because people will relate to it, I think, regardless, right? I think we all have something to relate about. It's all about how you connect and intertwine those things. So yeah, I've been blessed. I love this city.
Yeah, it's a cool town, man. I mean, it's not like anything else, and Austin's very special, and having you around is dope, man. I'm gonna leave us with saying to people, I'm just taking what you said about waking up and you paint this, and there's no specific mindset that I'm gonna sell this, but that's part of your job, is to create a great collection to give to me. And my first mindset is I'm gonna curate a great collection on the wall, like make it look like an amazing show. But it is my job to sell your work and put money in your pocket so you can continue to be an awesome artist and create and create and create. So there is a good there. So I'll be the mindset of selling your work, and you just keep making awesome stuff, and we'll write you check once a month.
Yeah, we all got to invest in ourselves too. So, you know, if that happens, then I can just better myself, and we can all see changes. I think that's amazing.
Agreed. And the better you get, the more we can sell and stay open. We're we've gotten Best Gallery of Texas Award 2-3 years in a row. I can't even keep track of the awards, which we're honored for, but having you in the gallery helps create that. It's all symbiotic. But here's the most important thing, is your collectors take home a piece of yours and actually have something of yours on their wall. That's the most important part, is the collectors that have it on the wall. I mean, for the rest of their lives, and hand it to their kids, who give it to their kids when we're all ashes or dust.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, it's all about it's all about the people, like you said. Because it's you create so much, and you think, man, the world's so big, and you've lived everywhere, you know, and I've only lived in, you know, made my way down south from the middle of America, and I was like, I'm never going to reach the type of people that I want to reach by doing it independently and making one family out of the next one happy. And it can happen. You'll see it where it's like a small world. I've even had my father, he has some friends that bought some paintings, brought it home, and they live around Fort Worth area. And he's like, that's my son. Like, that's crazy that you bought that painting and stuff. So it's like, it's wild how those connections can really come full circle, and it makes you feel like you've done something, you know? So.
Well, you definitely have. And not just physically, but you've moved us all emotionally. Your stuff's cool. It evokes excitement. There's some passionate stuff. I mean, your show with me last year, whenever it was, I just remember the painting. I wasn't expecting the paintings that you had brought in, and they're remarkable. We still have postcards from the show that people still ask for, because they want to see that painterly side of you. But
Cool.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls and others out there in the world, this has been Jason Eatherly, and that's Eatherly, not Eatherly.
Hey, you can say it how you want.
That's what I love about you. I correct everybody on me.
Yeah.
But folks, it's been a real honor to have him on Todd Talks here at A05 Gallery in Austin. Say bye to everybody before I sign you off, bud.
Much love. I love all y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you.
And he means that. I know that smile. He's a sincere human being. Folks, I'm Todd Gressley, Gallery Director, A05 Gallery. What an honor to talk to Jason today. I'm super stoked. I may be a little pink. You might be able to see my eyebrows right now, because I don't get overwhelmed a lot with artists, but talking to Jason's always dope. Anyway, come see a show. We'll announce the dates somewhere at the bottom of the screen. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions for Jason, post them below or email me at inquiries@a05gallery.com. It's been Jason. Thanks, dude.
Much love.
Right on.
Peace.
See ya.